check to see if this is working. Bear with me. Get out of here. Alright. Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Okay. What's up, YouTube world? Back here again with Farm Simulator because I have no life and I am bored as hell. So, if you're wondering what I'm doing right now is basically I'm trying to combine fields together because that sounds like a smart thing to do for some reason. If you see on my mini map, I've combined 14, 12, and 13 already. Now in previous videos you'll see that these fields are combined. So I'm just, let's see, turn plow. I'm just kind of messing with this at the moment because I've been really, well, no pun intended, but really farming to get some cash in this game, so I can afford the fields now. And I said, eh, fuck it, and bought this, but bought 14. So let's see, let's be careful of where we place you. I gotta make sure that I put the field in a way to where my harvesters can actually go across it, because on the far side I messed up and like I made it into a shape that the harvesters couldn't really they couldn't really do their task well on those areas because of the shape that it ended up being. And so the harvesters end up leaving a large chunk of area that's not harvested, and crap like that just happened with my plow where the earth just pushes it into a random direction. That's also not good. That means I'm going to have to go through and fix that. The important part is I've gotten those wings attached. Now I have to come over here. Why do you do that? It's twice now in just this field alone that you've done that. I can't believe you've done that. Means. But yeah, so I'm just combining the fields because how I normally play, because I know a lot of people are probably think, if anyone even watches this thing, like, wow, that's kind of a dumb thing to do. Why not have multiple fields? Because having multiple fields has advantages. Like, you can plant different crops in different fields and have like a cluster of 3 fields with 3 different crops. And I said that so weirdly, but you can have like 3 different fields with 3 different crops, and you know, and you can grow those out, or basically have variety. But combining fields like how I am, you can't do that as well because there's less fields now to actually diversitize your crops. And the problem with that is, you know, you just end up with the same crop over and over. And in this game, the stock market is an actual legit thing. Like, if you go in here, it shows you the values of each grain, each crop that you can grow and stuff, each material you can acquire. And if you get, like, right now I'm planting soybeans, so basically the first column that you can see right now, I'm planting a lot of that. Now, I've already harvested a lot of it, and I have big fields. When I go make whole giant fields of just the soybean, and then I go harvest it, and I turn around and sell it, then soybeans will now be almost worthless the next time I plant them, because essentially I've flooded the stock market with soybean, and now there's an overabundance of it. So you got to be careful of things like that. And so a lot of people don't like doing the giant super fields like this, because you can seriously flood the stock market, and make crops that were expensive now worthless. They're just as expensive to produce, but as far as selling them goes, they're practically useless to even attempt. But I do it anyway because, one, it makes it easier, two, you get more, just a little bit extra crop. Like this triangle right here, that's how much extra bit of grain that I can actually produce for this area. And actually, before I go through with that, wrong button. Where am I? Okay, too far. Somewhere over here. So I need to... too much. So what I'm doing right here is, because I discovered the area that was a little bit messed up, like that started pushing my plow in a weird direction. I use a landscaping tool so that way I can try to correct that. So I'm trying to smooth out the ground. It takes a little while to get used to the landscaping tool. I actually seriously messed up one of my fields with it back when I first discovered that. I guess it was one of the first few updates of the game. And so I thought, ooh, I want to use this, and I used it and completely ruined a field. And I panicked because once you use it, it automatically makes that bit of ground unusable. So if, like, I try to terraform, it's basically just a terraform tool. So if I try to level out part of the field or part of the ground in the middle of this field, that area, depending on how big the brush size is, would then become useless. Until I went through and changed it back. So I wouldn't be able, until I got a plow like this and told it create field, then I wouldn't be able to use that chunk of field. And if you use the terraform thing, you gotta be very careful because you can overdo it. Like I said, I've ruined a field with it, and after a while of basically messing around with it, I kind of figured out how to really use it. And so I was able to go back through. After I messed up the field, I sold the field, just, okay, not dealing with that, nope. And then I went back through later, and then I rebought the field because it was like, oh wait, this is how I can fix that. This is how this works. So if you do use a terraforming tool, just be careful, because and I'll show you in a sec how you can easily like mess things up with it, because it's very easy. Let me just get this line done and fix that little patch. Yeah, with the terraforming tool though, if you do, like, you get the option that you can raise the ground, lower the ground, smooth it out, flatten, things like that. And if you like hit raise, then the ground automatically shoots like down below what the normal ground level is, so that way you can tell it how even with the rest of the ground you want it, up until you essentially make your own mountain. And if you hit for it to lower, then it automatically shoots up real high and then will slowly move down, which is kind of weird. I don't know why it does that, but I didn't develop the game, so I can't really say much about it. I can't really give too much of an opinion. I mean, I will say, once you learn how to use it, it does come in handy. And like I said, the only pain in the ass is that it will automatically change the texture of the ground that you terraform to be almost unusable unless you plow it. But I usually have a plow anyway because I tend to create fields a lot, or like make fields bigger. I like having super fields, just because it makes my way of playing a lot easier. And fix this. But with the terraforming, also another thing to remember is that you can change. It's very easy to actually change the brush size that you're terraforming. Like it's in the same location as you would go to get to your store. So like here's the store menu. You just go all the way to the right. It's landscaping. Click on that, and let's go up here because I don't care if this gets messed up. Oh, you got a field right here. Actually, I might use that field. Okay, let me try to find a place on the map that I can use this on. Just as an example. Trying to think. Well, field 31 here is the one that I had messed up, by the way. And you can kind of see right here is where it's separated. Well, yeah, right here is where the field was separated, and that's where I combined them. But where you see this patch of darker blue is where I'd messed it up, because right here it goes up on a real steep mountain, and I was trying to see if I could flatten it all down so that way my tractors wouldn't have to push so hard to go up the hill to like carrying equipment and stuff. Because if you're going uphill and you have a plow, then your vehicle will strain to try to get up there. So I was trying to see if I lower this all down, make it flat, then how that work. And then I end up really screwing up the land, because then I made it basically a square chunk, just like it goes up, and then there's just like a vertical thing, and here's the field, like a vertical wall with the rest of the hill, and end up painting over a lot of the field. There's a lot of divots and warps and bubbles, and it wasn't even in the slightest sense. And as I'm trying to like, oh shit, mayday, fix it, I then realized that it's to terraform, which was fun fact. So I'm gonna terraform over there. Yeah. So yeah, and you can kind of see remnants over here of where that was. Basically where the grass stops right here is where it was, and I figured out how to smoothen out. But so let's go right here, and I hit raise, and that's literally what it does when you start terraforming. And then and same thing with wrong button. Same thing with lower. It just makes it all weird and stuff. So what I have to end up doing is smoothing out, and basically press and hold triangle to smoothen out the area. Now this area will never be the same again, because I have now rightfully fucked it up. I have very well messed it up, and so this ground will basically never go back to the way it is. And I've tested this already using like how there's certain tools you can use to restore the land back to its original state. Well, those tools don't work with the terraforming tool. So if you terraform, or you do the terraforming, then you decide later on, you know what, I don't like how that turned out, I want to change that, um, then honestly, too bad. You can't. And as you can see right here, there's still huge remnants of it, and I can't fix it because it's in a location that I technically don't have access to. See, I don't own this land right here, so I can't even go back up here to fix it. And honestly, I probably won't buy this land because this field is very small, and where is it? This field is very small. They're very out of the way, so I probably won't even waste my time. I might end up getting it and then turning this, just combining this all the way over here, or even just making a separate field here. I could end up doing that, but I don't really care to. Is this already? Alright, I gotta left that. Yeah, I don't really want to do that because, you know, I do have some pretty large fields, but that just, to me, doesn't seem like it's useful enough to waste my effort with that. So those fields I probably won't be getting. And there's a lot of fields like these two I probably won't get because combining that and just turning this to a giant horseshoe, it'd be a little redundant. Things like this field's way out of my way. I probably won't get that because you got a road right here and then a railroad right here. So this field is basically landlocked right there. I can't really, and with the house here, trees, chances are it's on a hill. You can't really change how this field looks and make it bigger. So, and because it's so out of the way of everything else, I have no reason to go get that one. This field I might get because it is a large field and I can do a lot with this one. This one, possibly. And when I do get small fields, like this one I don't even use anymore because I have a chicken farm here and a cow pasture. It's basically all I use this field 24. It's one of your starting ones. But small fields I typically will use for like cotton, because though cotton is very, very high value in stores, like if you sell cotton it will give you a pretty nice paycheck. Problem is the largest vehicle you can get for cotton does not have a very large like span, so it takes forever. I made that mistake and made this field cotton, and basically this whole thing cotton. 11, 12, and 13 was a giant cotton field, not realizing that it literally took me almost a day real time to actually harvest this whole thing of cotton. And that was when I only could afford one cotton gin. So only one machine was going through collecting this cotton. Now I can afford for like 6 of them to go at the same time, but it's still a little bit like, is this really necessary? Because though yes, it does give you a lot of money, it is a pain in the ass to work with. So I typically will use like 28 and 29. I've combined those together. Typically I'll use these for cotton. I might even use this for cotton because yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's still not too big. I'll use 19 for cotton. I just bought 18, 17, and 9, and I'm actually about to attach all 3 of these together, and then or all 4 of these together. So, and you can see I have a harvester here right now, harvesting 18. What kind is this? So this looks like oat, possibly, most likely. Alright, so I'm going to need a different harvester for that, or empty this out before I get to there. And you can see how much all of this here, this is all soybean. And this field and this field are the only two that have, well, and this one are the only ones that have actually been harvested. Now with all the grain, I have not sold any of it yet. I took it to my train station here, my little train silo, and I filled it up because, you know, these are about, all these together is like one train worth of grain. This one was just planted, so there is no grain to be harvested off this. But so I'm going to make an entire train load of soybean and then sell it at the highest bidding location, if it's accessible by train. If not, then I'll just take it out of the truck and take it to one of the mills, like the grain mill or something. I don't know how many more fields I'm going to buy. I might buy 10 and 7, so that way I can attach those. I have nothing to do up here. If I do end up getting these, I'd make like a forest, because the sawmill's right there. That could be useful. Because as far as I'm aware, sawmill, think. Okay, yeah, so wood chips are almost worthless. It's only $2.92 per unit. However much a unit is, no idea, but seeing how sawdust is very worthless here, I probably won't even bother with these. But like I said, I'm pretty much gonna only stick to the fields that I can combine together to make these super fields, because that's where I'm gonna get most of my usage out of. Because how I do is, yeah, I make these super fields, and then I will plant them all of the same crop, which does crash the stock market. It makes everything worthless. But I sell it all. Like, I'll take massive loads, fill up my train with it, and dump it all in the train, and then have the train dump all of that all at once. So therefore making it so the stock market can't have a chance to change the price or lower the price by the time I've sold everything. But there's so much to be sold that it will make that, like soybeans are about to become very worthless. But I'm gonna sell it all, like all of it, so quickly that before it can become worthless, I've already sold all of it and gotten as much profit as I can. And then what I'll do is I just won't harvest, or I won't make soybean for quite a while. I'll use one of the other crops to continue making money. Now I have found that this game, the stock market, isn't as influential as it was in 17 or even 15. Like in those ones, the stock market was very, very influential. Like a single grain of freaking wheat would make the entire market of wheat now like $200 less type thing. It was very influential, and I can't seem to get this little bit of grass, which is annoying me. Anyway, like those games, the market for the crops was very influential and very easy to manipulate. That's where I started doing the super fields, because it was you could manipulate so quickly and so easily. You had to have a way of manipulating it in a very fast way, or like basically sell all at once. And hello to whoever is watching. But that's why I do the super fields. Makes my life easy. Now, I'm gonna get this out of the way, because as you see, this field is still being harvested. So this tractor is no longer needed. Why is that sideways? Okay. I gotta get to my truck. Oh. There he is. Okay, so I parked that there for a reason, because as I was saying earlier in the video, and for the person that had joined, I pretty much when I harvest this field, I have to park something here so the tractor or the harvester doesn't go too far, because the weird shape of this area and how close it gets to the edge, and basically I put it too close to everything, and with the weird shape of it, the harvester doesn't really like to harvest it correctly. Oh, you are full. Where are you? Oh, I know where you are. Whatever. Actually, I need to... Okay. Trying to get... Okay, you're over here. I own so much of the map now, I don't even know where my own shit is. What is this? Ah, son of a bitch. I forgot to get this area. Okay, well, I'm gonna grab that tractor back. But first, I have to fly the fuck over here so I can empty out the harvester so that it can continue working. Pain in my ass. And as you see, I got my chickens there and my cows over there. I got a large chicken coop and a small cow pen. Because right now I'm in the process of learning how to deal with both chickens and cows. I don't really know how to use the animals and stuff like that. Oh, overshot it. Truck was going faster than I thought it was. Yeah, so I'm learning how to use the animals and stuff like that. So I got a large chicken coop because it was the most economically sensible one to get. Stop moving. Hang on, I'll be right back. I forgot I had food over here. Okay. Now I can enjoy my food. Forgot I had this sitting over there. Tell me you've completed your task. You have not completed shit. I know, I have the best lines ever. And I am a master at making a straight line and harvesting things. I farm good. Now we work. Thank you. Okay, you. Wait till you get up there. Basically gonna just watch this guy and watch how this worker does until he gets up to the end up there, and then I'm gonna take over. Well, first I'm gonna see how well he does, because usually the first little bit of the turn that's up there, where you can see the road kind of slants, they usually do pretty well, because it just basically just like any narrowing area, it just goes down the narrow, but then he'll stop right there and leave half the field like over there. But that's my bad, because this tower is in the middle of the field and I combine the fields with a tower in the middle, so, and I can't move through that tower, So what the workers end up doing is they will just get up to the tower and then turn around, and then they'll just skip entire lines like that. And so that's one of those things that I have to actually do manually. Otherwise they won't. But coming up to the side, that I have to start doing manually. But I'm going to eat a little bit while I wait for him to get up there, because as you see, that is not a very fast vehicle. It's going a whopping 4 miles an hour. And I apologize if the placement of the picture is blocking something that you want to see. Actually, I can probably fix that real quick. Wait, hang on. Let's see. Alright, that should be better. So now I am not blocking that. I'm not blocking the control menu. I mean, what the hell was that? Anyway, I am blocking my money and the time of day a little bit, but that's not as big a concern because I can still see that. Okay, I'm gonna tell you to stop. Get that little bit of grain you missed. But for me, that's the money thing isn't as big concern because I already know it's $14 million, and I can see it's 10:10 game time. And on my side of America, it's actually 7:44. But who's counting? Alright, now employee, take over. And I can see most of what it is on my screen, and I'm sure on YouTube you can see enough of it to be able to discern what it actually is. And with the slight transparency, it makes it a little bit easier as well. Because I decided to make it a little transparent so you could still see past the camera. Maybe not well, but can still be done. And what the hell? Anyway, and I haven't. The only thing that sucks is I can't see when it tells me, like right now it's saying that my other worker, the other harvester, has completed their job. I can't quite see that well anymore, but since this is streaming straight off of my PlayStation, I kind of don't have much of a choice in that, because I can't really just move this camera around free as day. That didn't make a lot of sense, but I can't move where the camera's exact location is. I can only tell upper left, upper right, or bottom left, bottom right. And the upper left, bottom left, and lower right all are blocking important stuff, like no. Let's not do that. Just stop. And don't do that. Anyway, I like to be able to see how full my storage is on the vehicle, miles per hour is. I like to see my gas gauge, how much damage the vehicle has. Sometimes I actually do need to kind of look at the controls as reference, because sometimes I go a little retarded, and sorry if the word retarded offends anyone. but sometimes I just don't really pay attention as well, and or like I forget what buttons do what, especially like if I haven't played in a while. Like right now I haven't played Farming Simulator in like a month or two or something like that, so kind of trying to remember what the controls are, because I started playing Subnautica a few weeks ago and I got really into that, so I'm trying to go back into this game's controls from that. And I'll put a video of Subnautica later on. What I'll probably do for that is just start a new campaign, or I can just continue where I'm at now, because where I'm at, I've just been dicking around. I have yet to do any campaign, so I can actually just do the campaign. Why did you stop? Okay. Well, apparently that's a thing. For some reason, today, the hired help has just been randomly stopping. Like midway through a task, they'll just stop, either task complete, or they'll stop and just unexpectedly stop, no idea why. It's very weird. Kitten, do not do that. Sorry, one of my cats just walked by, saw the wire from my mic, and has gotten curious. In fact, it's this little fucker, who should have been named Loki because he's a mischievous little fucker. But his name is Lucifer. What do you want? What do you want? Little fucker. You being a pain? Oh, you responded to that. At least you know your place. Well, not... At least you understand what you are. See, he knows he's a pain. He responds to that. Yes, that is a microphone. What of it? That's the little boy. And now he's going after my food, which is not gonna happen, little boy. This cat begs worse than any dog I've ever known. Because unlike most dogs, they'll just sit there and stare into your soul until you give them food. This here cat will not only stare into your soul until you give it food, and stare into your food soul, but will also try in the most passive way, and thinking he's all stealthy, to just try to take it. Like, he'll just inch ever so closely, like as you saw, hops over here, and we'll just look at the food, and hop over there, and then hops back over here, and we'll just sit here and just kind of slowly inch closer to see how long it takes for me to notice or comment on it. And this is where the employee goes stupid. And he'll wait to see how I react before he continues. And we'll keep inching closer until he gets brave enough to just take the food. And he also likes to watch videos. I don't know if you can see him on the camera or not, but right now he is literally watching me play. He's a very weird cat. Time to mess with people's OCD. because I know this is seriously messing with someone's OCD. And someone's going to want to rip their hair out for this. But I don't care. Because it's funny. Why is there a random hole in the freaking... Okay. Apparently that was a thing. Everyone knows that this is how you harvest grain. Okay, I want you going that way. I like these harvesters. It's the one that, shit. Basically the highest costing one that you can get in the store. And what's cool about it is you can choose which brand you want it to have on it. So like, say you want it to be a Challenger, it'll be a Challenger. If you want it to be freaking, what the fuck was it, like Fend, I think it was, that's what it'll be. Or I think the other option is New Highland or New Holland. It can be like, there's 3 different brands you can have on it, but it's a very generic harvester. Like, I made mine Challenger because I prefer the Challenger brand. I wish I could get it to be the Case, the Case H, KCH, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but fortunately that's not an option. And this tractor, or this harvester, is not a mod as far as I'm aware. I'd have to look at it. I'm pretty sure this one just comes with the game. And you can choose this one of the, where the front wheel is actually a track. Which I prefer those ones because they seem to give a little bit better traction. Well, in real life they give pretty good traction. But in game, I like the cosmetics of it, and in game it makes me feel like it's driving better, pushing harder, giggity. Yeah, it's a decent tractor. Once I get him, okay, now I get him going this direction. Now I can just basically let this guy just drive himself. I no longer have to help him. So, yeah, it's the actual, the icon for the harvester is the harvester that I'm driving. So, yeah, it comes with the game, and when you go to buy one, like, this is what it looks like, and you can get be a Fend, I don't know how to pronounce that, Challenger, or, oh, it's Massey Ferguson. So those are the 3 brands you can get for it, and you can get 2 different engine types. So the Ideal T8 and the Ideal T9. It looks like abbreviations or an acronym, but I recently discovered, like, wait, it says Ideal. So I don't know if that's just the game's way of saying it's the ideal thing to get or what, but I kind of saw that and kind of chuckled. But you can't change the color of this harvester. It comes black and only black, but I think it looks cool. I like it. And you see it's more than what this one, or it's the more expensive of the harvesters. And you also have John Deere in the game now. They finally got John Deere to sponsor. And with these tractors, they all are roughly the same size, but this one is actually the better of the group, because if you look, and like also the price difference, so from here to here you can see there's a huge size difference just by the main picture. Like, if you look at the John Deere, it's still a pretty big piece of machinery. Everything looks almost the same as all the others. Hey, get off the table. Looks roughly the same as all the others, and you can get this as, oh, you can get the crawler track, a one wheel, let's see, a wide wheel, a regular wheel, and twin wheels. I'd probably try to get the track, but the track doesn't look good with this. It looks kind of dumb with the track. It looks the best with the tire. Getting a twin adds extra railing to it. It's funny. But if you look at the cost and the grain storage that has, it can hold 14,100 units, however much a unit is. If someone knows, please put in the comments and let me know. But holds 14,000. Okay, this one, or sorry, 14,100. 14,400. So this holds 300 more. The Case H holds 300 more than John Deere. 14,500. Yep. I'm pretty far from my TV right now, so I have to lean forward to actually see it. But 14,500, so 100 more than the Case H. And this one is 17,100, so, you know, several thousand more than what any of these can hold. So that's why this one's the most expensive and why it's really the ideal one. And it even says ideal. So you get the most bang for your buck for this one. And it says I own one. If you look on the icons underneath, like the little engine icon, how much power it can have, how much fuel it holds, how fast it goes, how much grain it holds, how many I own, and then how many am I leasing. So the leasing one is the little picture of a hand with the key underneath. I leased 2 of them, but in the little picture of like what looks like a garage is how many do you actually own. So I own 1, I leased 2. And that's because when I first got onto the game, oh shit, you're both full. Okay, well, actually let's take care of you first because you're closer. When I first started the game, you start off broke as hell with no money to your name. Find any, that's just about any game and how Farming Simulator usually works. And you start off with 2 fields, one full of grain, or one that's ready to be harvested, and then one that is that needs to be cultivated, and then crops need to be planted. And that's how it teaches you initially how to actually play the game, for if you've never played it. If you have, just to get you started. And then your grain silo comes stocked with basically half a trailer full of grain, like enough grain to kind of get you one tractor. And how I normally play is when I first start off the game, I will use the harvester it gives you to harvest whatever grain, which is usually wheat. Wheat is like the easiest to grow, and it's the cheapest of them, I believe. And I just harvest that real quick, and then I'll go sell that harvester. I'll use the tractor with the cultivator, because you start off with like 2 different tractors. One that has a cultivator, one that has a seed planter. I'll take the one with the cultivator, plow the field, get it ready for the seed planter, and then once it's done, I'll start it and hire a worker to go do the field that I just harvested. I'm just going to cut through these people's fields. And then the seed planter, I instantly have it start on planting seed on the field that I just cultivated. And once the other one's done, I'll start that. And then I'll immediately sell, once I'm done with all 3 tractors, or both tractors and the harvester and all that, I sell everything. Sell all the equipment that I have. And then I'll go to the store, or I'll at least sell the harvester first, and then I'll buy the new harvester. And oh shit, I forgot there's rails right there. Oops. Ah, piss. I'll buy the newest harvester I can. I'll lease it, because if you lease the vehicles in the game, it's much cheaper as it would as in real life. So like if you go to a car dealership, they tell you your monthly payment to buy the car is 14, or not 14, like say it's $500 a month to finance the car until you own the car. Well, if you lease it, then it's like, okay, then you'll only pay $200 a month for like 3 years, and then in 3 years after you're paid the however much, the 200 a month, then whatever's left of the cost of the car, then we'll give you the option to either buy it or trade it back. This game does it very similarly, where like I'll actually go into the store. So let's look at our heavy hauler here. So I go into there, let's say the Challenger one. So to buy it, it's $485,000. But to lease it, it's only $23,700. So I can, for the cost of buying one, I can lease like 2 or 3 of them. Well, actually 3 or 4 of them, or more. It's too early to math right now. I just woke up. But yeah, so I immediately lease the biggest harvester I can with the biggest header, which usually I get the one that has like a 20-foot span on it, because you can pretty much, you could see how having a huge header gives you a huge advantage in the game, because there's that much grain that I can get at once, and with such a large header, you can pretty much harvest the starter field with like one swipe. I don't know why that's sideways. Oh yeah, and then I have to go to U, because I have to sell the wheat because this is full. But yeah, so like the starter one is only like 3 meters wide, which is basically the width of the harvester itself. So as you can imagine, it'll take quite a long time just to harvest one field, even the starter fields, which are rather small, as opposed to the 27 meter one, which actually go over here to the header icon. Like your starter one is like this one right here, where you have 4.2 meters. That's a whole lot of length, as opposed to the one that I am currently using, which is, I want to say this one. These two are the same, so I went with the case one. Basically, which one would you rather, case or New Holland? And they're the same length. This one takes up 13 spots, this one only takes up 1. So it's like, you know what, that one, the case one, makes more sense, because that means I can have more than I could otherwise. And you can see it's 13.7 meters, so you get a lot more width out of it. The John Deere is the same length, but 17 spaces versus 1. The case makes the most sense. And I'm actually going to have to do some adjusting here, because I'm running out of storage for my vehicles. So this farming simulator, just like all the others for the console, there's a maximum amount of storage that you can have for vehicles. So like the first farming simulator, the one that came out in like 2013 or whatever, that one was like the worst for it, where you only had like 127 slots, and one harvester would take up like 13 or 14 slots, and 127 isn't a lot. So I could only have like one harvester. Actually, I had 2 harvesters, 4 tractors, 2 trailers, 1 seed planter, and if this thing will stop, that works. I had like 2 seed planters, and a couple other small things. I think 1 semi truck, because you're very limited on what you can have, and after that, I was out of storage. I couldn't hold anything else. Well, then go to the next farming simulator. They give you almost twice the amount of storage, which is great, and I had basically twice as much stuff. But there is still a limit to what you could have, and I thought it was great because Farming Simulator 2015 is when they introduced the forestry equipment, and when like fields weren't like in the first Farming Simulator, all the fields, there was nothing on any of them. Every field was just a barren field until you bought it, and then it would have stuff on them like if you came up to this field, there wouldn't be like how you could see where I just cultivated it and whatnot. That wouldn't be there. It'd just be a blank field, and then I would have to buy it and then actually plant something for it to have something on it. And I want to say that there wasn't any traffic in the game either. It was just you and only you in the world. So it's very lonely. No, it's itchy. But anyway, so the second one, there's actually traffic. The fields that didn't belong to you were getting planted and stuff like that. You can see they're going through like a harvest cycle, and it was actually really cool because it made you feel like you weren't the only one in the world. Like, because whenever you buy a field, it's like you bought it from somebody, but it wouldn't really tell you what, and people will have favors for you, like a little picture of the person who had the favor, but you never saw anyone. Second one that came out in like 2015, you could actually have traffic driving about, pedestrians. No, I don't think pedestrians were implemented yet, but there was traffic in a cycle in fields actually, like the ones that you didn't own would have grain, like this field that we're on right now. I just bought this field and it's already got oat in it. And so I didn't plant the oat was already there, and I just bought the field as it was ready to be harvested. Cool. Makes my life a little bit easy. And get away from me. Okay. This one I've turned the traffic off because it's become more of a nuisance, and because a lot of my equipment has to go into the road. It's just easier. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the cotton gin. This is the machine for picking cotton. So as you can see, it doesn't have a very wide spread, and it takes a long time for it to actually harvest an entire field. And of course I got mods on the game, like I have as you see, the big bud pack. So this is the smaller of the big buds, which has even has even a rotating fan on the front, stuff like that, right next to the radiator, spinning around the shroud, actual moving parts, which is really good detail for it. And I'm sure you've possibly noticed a couple times when I'm switching through my vehicles, oh hey look, you're done. You'll see that like I have, where is it? Here he is, the real big one. And right now I have attached to it the biggest seed planter that I can possibly find. And that's because, I have such large fields. I got the super fields made, so I need something that can plant these fields very quickly. If I get these standard planters or just a normal size planter, it's going to take me almost an entire day of actual time just to plant like this field alone. If like the width of this plow is all I have to plant this field, it's going to take quite some time. But with that thing having such a large spread on it, god, it goes straight. That thing having such a large spread on it, I can plant a lot of field very quickly. And that's another reason why I get the super fields. I call them super fields, I don't know what else to call them. Because that's essentially what they are. They are a massively super large field. But that's another reason why I get the super fields, because I like having that planter. Because one, it cultivates the ground and plants at the same time. So it's basically one machine that does the job of two. And at the same time, it covers a lot of ground at once. But having smaller fields is more of a pain in the ass for having that machine. It makes for, like, if you have smaller fields, it makes more sense to have the smaller planters, because, you know, if you don't have that much width on your field, there's no point of having that much width on your machine. And I personally like that machine, which gives me a little bit of a biasness with it. But I get the super field, so that way I actually have a reason to have it, because if I don't have a need for it, there's no need to buy. There's no reason. You know, I can use that whatever game money in the storage for something else that I do use or I do need. Like this plow. I wouldn't have this plow that I'm using right now if I didn't have that machine over there, the big planter. Then there would be no reason for me to have super fields. If there's no reason for me to have super fields, well, pretty much if I don't have one, then I don't need the other. So if I don't do the fields, I don't need that. If I don't have that, I don't need the fields. Or the fields are more useless to me. The fields are more useless to me, then I don't need to have this plow to combine the fields, because I can just use a cultivator that can cultivate and plant at the same time, just a smaller scale. So this plow would be useless, therefore making this tractor useless, because the way I do is, once I get to a certain point in the game, I'll have specific tractors that are designated for one task only. So this Challenger that I'm using here, and I have it really zoomed out so I can see where the plow is doing. This Challenger, the only job that this Challenger has is to use this plow. This tractor does not do anything else, because I don't need it to. I have it specialized for this task only. The Big Bud over there, it only will use that harvester or that cultivator and nothing else, because for one, no other tractor in this game seems to actually have the strength to pull that harvester, which makes little sense but a lot of sense at the same time, because it's a lot of equipment. It'd be a very heavy piece of equipment, and with all the hills and stuff in this game, a lot of the tractors just don't have the strength to pick it up. So, you know, it makes things a little bit easier. And then on another note, it crap, I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. I forget. Wait, how do I crouch? Okay, thank you. Let's see here. I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about just a second ago. I was talking about something super important, and now I can't even remember what that was. Oh yeah, the specifics of the vehicles. So yeah, that cultivator, because of the terrain, especially on this map, none of the other vehicles can really handle it. So I basically have to use that just for that task, because nothing else is really capable enough. I missed a tree. How did I miss a tree? How did I miss that tree? And so I'll have specific vehicles for specific tasks. Let's see here, let's go to painting. We want this to be just grass color. So basically what I'm doing right here is preparing this area to become a field, and you'll see more how I do that in a sec after I clear out the bushes, because I found using the painting tool, which by the way you can switch over from I can now sculpt the land to now I can just change the texture. So I can change this area to be just dirt, I can change it to grass, gravel, concrete, dirty concrete, rocks, mountain, I guess dirty mountain, mud, field dirt it looks like, and then I don't even know what that is. I think it might be sand, something like that, white sand or some shit, dirt, I don't even know. But you can see that there's different textures that you can make the ground. And let's see here, let's go over here. Well, too bad, you're gonna get terraformed. And you can use the painting tool and even the terraforming tool for like bushes that, like, a lot of times, and I'm sure people who played a lot of Farming Simulator will note that sometimes bushes will get in your way, or they're just unsightly, they look very poor, and they're kind of a pain, and you can't get rid of them easily. Well, with the painting tool now you can actually just, boom, all those bushes are now gone. And so I'm using the painting tool to just change all of this, because basically I'm going to cut down all these trees here, and well, not all of these trees, but a lot of them. Basically, pretty much I'm going to cut from here over, and I'll show you in a little bit of how I manage with the actual trees. I have the best way ever of actually dealing with these trees, okay? Best way of actually dealing with the trees, because it is a pain to actually grab them all. I have a wood chipper at my house, but the thing is, these trees are a pain in the ass, and they're very time consuming to cut them all down, cut them to pieces, bring them back to the house. Actually, what the hell am I doing? These trees, these are ones I can actually use equipment to cut them. So that's actually what I'm gonna do. This just made my life a little bit easier. I'm gonna get you. That looks very let's go with you. Alright, since I can just use you, I don't know why those tracks are blue. That looks very dumb. I mean, it makes sense if they're the same colors. I think it almost looks like they're unfinished textures. Like the game itself has forgotten to finish these. Or it makes them look like they're made of like plastic. But oh well, can't do much about that. I just realized that those trees were something I can use this to cut down. So a lot of the trees you can't cut down with this tractor or with this machine. It has to be a specific type of tree. And by the way, one of the ways that I got freaking 15 million or 13 million dollars is because of these little signs here. Government subsidized, as well as, and you'll see in a sec as I drive by my house, I have solar panels, and I'm sure you probably have noticed I drove by a few solar panels like those. And fun fact is, the solar panels and those subsidized signs are mods that you can get that just recently came out for the game. And I've decided to, well, the solar panels, I knew what they did because all the farming simulators have had solar panels. And what the solar panels do is essentially it gives you money. So it's just a little quick way of giving you like a little bit of money every day. And the government subsidize, it said it kind of gives you money, but never specified how much money it gives you. And it says like government will pay you for having this sign essentially. So it's like, alright, well, let's see what this does. I put a couple on my property just as a why the hell not, and found out that doing that actually gives you a large amount of money. Okay, gotta remember how to use this thing. Here's my, let's go with 8. I think 8's the longest. Yep. And then I can lift this. And then just turn these into logs. Cool, I should have did that with the other one, but too late. Now in the Farming Simulator 2015, I used to do this a lot. This was like one of my favorite machines to use. Oh, you're already cut down. Oh yeah. I already cut a few down by the time I realized. Alright, and then I can use this to get very small stumps. I just gotta get used to using this again. I used to use this thing all the time in 2015 Farming Simulator. And you can see that I'm still getting used to it. Almost. That length though. And then let's see here, let's get some of these trees out of the way. Okay. I used to know how to use this thing. It appears I don't anymore. Takes a while to get used to. Shit. And what I end up doing with all the trees that didn't use this thing, because all the trees I've cut up until now, this machine could not actually harvest. I couldn't use this machine to take them down. It had to be with essentially other means, basically a chainsaw. So I end up, because it's such a kind of a pain to bring all this to the wood chipper, what I end up instead is just cutting the trees down, using a front end loader and just pushing them off to the side. Basically not my problem anymore. So that's what I was about to do with all of these, but then I didn't realize that these are actually trees that I can use this for. And that I should have been using this for. Now I'm probably still going to do the same thing with the pushing them all to the side, pretend like they don't exist. And you can fuck with the camera angles. Oh, I'm actually stuck. Or what? Don't know. But stuck nevertheless. Okay, well I'm out of your range. Oh, or not. Gotta get used to the mechanics of this. Yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna use a front end loader to push this out of my way, because like I said, wood chips don't really do shit for me. So I'm not even gonna waste my efforts trying to make wood chips. See, I knew you could go higher. A lion sack of shit. Why? Why did you do that? This game can be very buggy sometimes. Now that these are all out of the way, so you're probably going to be one of the last ones to cut. And sorry if I'm getting a little bit quiet. Starting to get a little bit into the game, and I'm starting to forget that I am trying to stream. Alright, let's see, go down. So I do sometimes forget that I am streaming this. Alright, let's see, is there anything else I need to cut down? Oh, you. And then you should be the last one. Let's see, can I get it? I guess barely. Alright, well, I mean, I'll take it as a victory. So, since now I can actually use this, pretty much just gonna park it somewhere close to trees. I actually have a use for it now, so I'm probably gonna keep it now. Right there's a good place for you. And these trees that are here in front of me, I can't use it. This for I can only use it on basically the Christmas trees. You. Wow, you're way the hell over here. Okay. Yeah, this is one of the tractors I was using. I bought this field over here back, and this white stuff is lime, by the way. Sometimes you gotta put lime on your fields, but when I bought the field over here, it was all oat, and so I made hay out of it because I have animals that can eat that, or so I thought. I don't know if cows eat that still. I know cows do eat bales, I just don't know if they eat hay bales or if it's only grass, which is very important to very important thing to find out, because I have, I think, 3 bales of grass right now and like 50 bales of hay or straw, whatever. So gotta find out which one of the two that the cows eat. Oh, I can zoom this in now. But yeah, as I was saying before about the subsidies, putting that on your fields, the government and the in-game government gives you money for your field. So, and after I put that on my field, suddenly my fields, I started getting like mad money. It's almost like in the first or the last years, or not last year's, but Farming Simulator 2017, where you could have a mod of the magic cheat box. It's kind of like that mod. Let's see. And so I saw that, I was just like, oh shit, well I should let's see how far this gets me, and turns out gets you a lot of money really quick. I have no idea what I'm cutting right now. I didn't even cut the stump that I'm trying to cut. There we go. And the machine I'm using right now is just a stump remover. You move it onto a stump and it just tears it up. Now, I have found you can use this to cut logs up. But the only problem is I have it on a weak tractor right now. Basically, the only reason I still have this tractor is because I use it for all the tools that are pretty much small, light tools. So like the stump remover, there's no real reason I should just go over and put this on my Case H quad track, because that's just a little bit much. It's a little bit big of a tractor for something as small as this. Or I could just have a small tractor carry that. Actually, I think this is a medium tractor. I don't remember. Now, it does get a little bit pushed back by the stump remover sometimes. Like, if you're actually cutting, it'll slowly kind of push you back. But it's not too bad. But I use pretty much this tractor only for the small light stuff that I don't need a big tractor for. Things like a baler. I'm not going to use a huge tractor for that. My bale grabber, I sure as hell am not using a big tractor for that, because the bale grabber, if your vehicle is bigger in width than the machine you're using, like the bale grabber has an arm that comes out the side to grab the bales. If your vehicle extends out farther than what that grabber can grab, then it's not going to be very effective for you. And so I use this tractor because the bale grabber can still reach out pretty far to grab bales, and the vehicle doesn't get in the way of that. And yeah, this tractor is very weak, especially compared to the equipment that I have. It struggles to like go up hills with equipment. It struggles a lot with a lot of the different equipments, and there's very few equipment that this thing can actually use that I have. Like, it can't use the big cultivators because those cultivators are like 5 times the size of it and probably 5 times the weight. So it's not strong enough. It doesn't have the traction to carry those. Those are things I actually have to use a large tractor for, which that's fine. I have plenty of large tractors to use it with. But like I said, there's some things that are just too small to waste a large tractor with. There's no point to using my big bud to carry just a small little stump remover. That's why I keep this around. It is just big enough for what I need it for. And that's what she said. That was a big ass tree. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna... You can actually use the stump remover to cut pieces of tree. If I could figure out how. Oh, so you're gonna make me a liar, huh? Well, I've used it in the past to cut trees. Like to cut trees in half and stuff like that. That one just might be too big. It's just telling me basically no. But I have done it in the past. So I know it can be done. It's just that tree might just be too large for that. So now I gotta go to you. This is basically what I use to move the trees. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because I don't need to be looking down my intake. Man, this stream has been going on for a while. I think it's been on for 2 hours now. So, that's cool. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming this. Hopefully all of it gets recorded well. Oh, by the way, if you get plots for animals, it'll automatically terraform your land, as well as automatically color it. That's why this field has such a weird angle, because the chicken coop has terraformed it in a weird way, and so did the cow pasture, and I've been struggling to kind of put it back in a reasonable state, because I put them very close to the road, and because they're close to the road, you can't terraform on the road. So the game just won't let you terraform on the road. What the hell did you pick? Oh, you dumped the grass. Yeah, it won't let you terraform if you're too close to the road. Oh, I missed a stump. Oh well. So I should just get one of those trucks that can pick all this up, but that requires me doing work, and it's a lot more complicated using those than it is to use the actual truck to cut it. And it's much easier just to push it away. So push it away I shall. I boost you. And it's a lot more tedious to actually pick them up. And actually no. I'm gonna do, because this thing is a large branch, a large tree, and cut you in half so you're at least the same size as other trees. And then I can push this a lot easier. Yeah, the trucks to actually pick up the logs, so a little bit weirder to use than the actual tree cutter. It requires a lot more delicateness and delicacy and a lot more precision. And it has a lot more controls. It's just very tedious to use. And I mean, not if I stack everything in a perfect line like that. Goddamn. You know what? I actually might try to use that. Just gonna at least get everything lined up to do that. Forestry equipment. Let's get you. Yeah, why not? Okay, so this is the truck to grab the trees after you've cut them down. Well, one of them. So I like grabbing this one and the tree cutter truck, because the one that I got, the black and yellow one, because this is the basically the ones that you first were introduced to in Farm Simulator 15. These are basically the first forestry equipment tractors that you can actually get. So I kind of prefer these ones because these are the first you're introduced to. Now there are different ones you can use. It's just I like these ones, and most of them have roughly the same holding capacity, especially for the logs. It's just pretty much this big. There's no actual like numeric amount of trees you can carry. Is pretty much when they no longer fit on your trailer is when you're full, because they don't expect you to grab like 600 trees and put them all around this truck. They don't expect you to just fill it up to the top of the yellow bars. My nose fucking itches. And the cool thing about this truck is, let's see, I have 3 viewers. Cool thing about this truck is you can actually change the direction that you're driving in. So I can hit X, and now if I hit like just normal drive, now this is forward, and the way we were driving is now reverse. So let's see, no one has put anything in chat yet. So yeah, this is now reverse drive. It's pretty cool about this truck. Alright, time to grab these logs that I just pushed off to the side. And the cool thing is, for the forestry equipment, it has a special camera dedicated for the actual tool that you're using. Okay, have to remember how to use these. And then let's see, open up. Ah, fuck, nose itch. Okay, so that opens and closes. Okay, drop all the way down. No. Death grip. Don't push the trees into the... God damn it. Yeah, I haven't used the forestry equipment since Farming Simulator 2017 first came out, and I very lightly used them then. It was mostly in 2015 that I used this stuff. Now, when I did use it, I was pretty decent at using them. But now that I don't use them really anymore, it's now a pain in the ass. And of course, physics has to be functional in this game. Why does physics have to actually work? Holy shit, it worked. Okay. And then let's see this open up. Good enough. Okay, so this is more of a pain in the ass than I thought it was gonna be. Especially since I can't see shit because I cut those trees with a chainsaw, not the actual truck. That was a mistake on my part. At least I learned my lesson. And it appears there's also a weight capacity that the actual claw can grab. So I can't just grab a huge stack of just all the trees. I can only grab a certain amount. See, can I? Nope, can't lift those. Okay. I'm going to not climb into the truck. I'm going to cut some of these with a chainsaw. And some of these are being a pain in the ass, and I don't appreciate it. I'm pretty much just cutting the branches now, so I can at least see what the hell I'm doing. Because this is getting annoying. And apparently the chainsaw will automatically cut the branches. Okay, now I can at least see what I'm trying to actually do. Okay, I hate how it does that. Why? Why is that even a thing? I don't even know why. What is the point of that? Okay, how do I make this thing retract? I don't even know. You know what? We're just gonna move the fuck out of the way, and I'm going to go back to my original idea of, we're just gonna say fuck this and push all of these trees into a pile and push them into the forest, out of sight, out of mind. I like that idea. So we're going to go with that one. Because I do not have the patience to pick up those trees right now. Maybe one day I will. Just not today. So this is pretty much what I did for every other tree because I just don't have the patience to actually cut them all up and load them into a truck or anything. Just pretty much just take them all and push them off to the side where they are out of my way and they no longer can affect my farm. Cool trick shot. So we're just going to go ahead and do that for all of these trees. And why don't you turn? So yes, we're just going to go ahead and clear this all out. And for the person that just joined, or if that person is even still here, I'm doing this stream because I am currently bored as hell. And so, and plus I haven't posted anything in a while, so I was like, you know what, it's probably time for me to at least put something on my stream, on my channel, because I haven't in a while. But I really have nothing else to put, and until I get a good computer, I can't pre-record any videos I make. I have to either record and edit it on my phone, or I have to just live stream it on YouTube. I can't like pre-record and then put on my computer, them on my computer. Right now my computer is actually not functional. I think that it got a virus. I'm not a computer person. I should never be trusted to computer on my own. But I tried to computer on my own, knowing that I shouldn't. And I'm pretty sure I put a virus on my computer. But I've been told that it could just be an input error. Like my keyboard just started messing up. Something like that, because I have a wireless mouse and keyboard. Could just be that thing started just messing up and glitching. Or it could be a virus. It is unsure. But either way, within 30 minutes of playing on my computer, I broke it. So it's just proof I should not be allowed to computer on my own. And until I can get that fixed, and until I can get really a capture card, I won't be able to pre-record stuff. I want to get a capture card. Something, because what capture card is like a little device that I plug in. Basically, I plug it into the PlayStation with HDMI cable, and then I plug it has two ports. Plug one side into the PlayStation and the other side into the TV. And then you hit record, and then everything that the PlayStation records, or hit record on the device. Everything that your PlayStation sees and that gets sent to your TV, the device will record it, and then when I'm done, I can unplug it and then take it, like remove it from the PlayStation, all that, go back to my shit. I did not mean to do any of that. I can then go to my computer and then I can edit it as I see fit. But right now, why aren't you? Oh, because you're trying to paint it. Okay, now fix it. But I don't have one of those, and those things are actually quite expensive. But until I get one, I'm kind of SOL on that front. Ah, fuck. Why is my nose itch so much? So, anyone watching, you're gonna be stuck with just the either live streams or random BS off my phone. And that's as best as I can give you. How do I get rid of this? I want to get rid of this place. And right now, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just trying to smoothen out the land. Trying to, let me get my freaking stump remover. There you are. I missed 2 stumps. So I need to cut those so I can finish terraforming the land. Well, essentially all I'm doing right here is trying to even out the land and stuff like that and clear this area off so I can turn this whole area into a super field. And that's really all I'm trying to do. Let's see here. Alright, cool. I wish I could get rid of that house. I just don't know how to. Because it's on my property, so in theory I should be able to just toss it. Shit, I need my front end loader. I also need to move you more. Wrong way. Fuck it. The front end loader was... there it is. Because I have 2 more trees, or 3 more trees that I need to move. You can already see that this area is a lot more flattened than it was before. It's much more even now. Even Steven. Alright, so now let's use my tractor. And since I can't do anything with this, I'm pretty much just going to shove everything up against that. Because there's nothing else I can do with that. If anyone has any idea of how to delete structures like this, like these are the structures that are defaulted onto the map. So I didn't put that there, it was automatically there. And I've yet to find the option to delete it. So if I can just get rid of that little hut, you better believe I will. Because this thing, there's no use for it to me. Like if I go to miscellaneous and I look through all the stuff, nothing. Oh yeah, by the way, these are, if you get the solar panel mods, there's only 1 mod you download and you get these 3 solar panels. So this one give you $15 a day, $20 a day, $25, and they are fairly large. I have a bunch of these right next to my house, and then a bunch of these around the community. Just give me stuff. As you can see, I have 11 of those and 6 of those. I don't know why this one takes up 1 space, this one takes up 6, this one takes up 1. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is another one of the mods that I got recently. Basically just instead of having to go to the store constantly to refill my cedar or refill my fertilizers and stuff, because that's a pain in the ass to do, I downloaded these mods that came out recently, put those at my actual farmhouse, so when I run out of seed I just stop at the house, refill it, and I'm done. And then this is the government subsidized thing. Oh, it tells you right there. So it's $150,000 per hour, and I own 7 of those. Fuck. And it costs you no money to use those. That's why I get so much money so goddamn fast. That makes sense. Okay, and then I also got this so you can modify vehicles and repair them at your house or wherever you want. You don't have to drive them to the store just to do that. Just one of the mods that I wanted, and these 2 are also mods, so can get a gas station anywhere, and I can put just fuel anywhere, water station, wood chipper, tiny little shed, which I don't own any of those, and a pressure washer. Let's see. Ugh. Ow. Okay. These are the only sheds. This is a mod shed, basically from the first farm simulator. So it's, as you can see, very basic. Let's see, decoration. I have one of these. Oh, this is... Holy hell. I have an idea of what you are. Oh. So this is that. Because if I turn you... Yep. That's all that is. Okay. Problem solved. See, none of those, none of those. I have a... This is also another one of the mods that I got. These light towers, which... Didn't mean to do that. They're under decoration. So like these. As you can see, like there's one right here, or two right here next to this, or this is where the fuel pump I was telling you about was. Little fuel pump, just drive tractor up there, drive fuel, and there's a tall light tower and a small one. The one that's actually placed right now is a small one, or a medium one, and then the one that's red is a tall, or a large. Fertilizer, seed, another small thing, liquid fertilizer, crap like that. Yeah, so that's the mods that I got, and here's all the hay bales. Like I was saying, I'm not concerned if the cows eat this hay, perfect. If not, shit, because I have a lot of these. But I have no more of the actual grass ones. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I'll go back to my landscaping. Oh wait, I don't want to raise the earth. I want to... There you go, smoothing it out. Just gotta make this as smooth as possible. Now I've learned my lesson by hitting raise or lower, because I would have just hit lower and tried to make it all lowered, but as you saw back in the mountains, it messes it all up. So I'm just going to smoothen everything out, and you can see it actually doing work right there. It's actually flattening everything, so it's like an area that's higher than the other. It's just kind of manipulating both of them, so that way, like, it just consistent, nice. So it becomes a hill, but it's not like so disfigured and stuff like that that your vehicles can't traverse it. Because if the terrain is too rough, then vehicles won't be able to traverse it, or they'll get stuck. If you're trying to use a seed planter, then it'll skip areas because the terrain is too rough. And so the smoothing, I use smoothing mostly because, you know, it makes it so that way it can just glide over that. As long as your tractor's strong enough to go up that hill, it'll just glide over with no issue. And everything will be good. Looks like it's about as smooth as I'm gonna get this. And since I can't use this, because what I was gonna do is extend this out to like here and then just bring it over, but I can't with this house, which sucks. Okay, so now that I've gotten that done, I can come over here. Oh, that field has nothing on it. Cool. And let's see. Turn the plow, because I want it to be going this way. So I'm going to go ahead and lower it here and then just make a turn. And then also using this tool to pretty much terraform the area, I can see how well other bits of equipment will handle the terrain. So if it's too rough of terrain, then this plow won't pick up as well. Like, this plow will shift around a lot. It'll make mistakes in the field. But if it's terraformed well, then it won't mess up, essentially. And let's see. That ended up being actually in my way. Push you out of the way. Alright, we can go ahead and lift that. So this ended up being in the way. I'm gonna have to move it out of my way. So now I can... Oh, god damn it. Okay. Lowering the plow. Now I can go back through. Again, I have this zoomed out so far because I want to be able to see where the plow is actually. That's why I try to remove that stuff. Okay, well, that actually worked. So because the plow didn't want to go there, that tells me I need to terraform in that location. So it's not so smooth here because my plow would not basically plow this area. So another good thing about plowing the ground first is it shows you what actually needs to be plowed and what doesn't. Okay. Before I continue, there's a front end loader. I had to remember what this is called. Okay. I'm going to move that tree the hell out of the way because trees are annoying. And stop messing with the forestry equipment because trees are annoying and you have to be very particular about them, and honestly you have to be rather precise, which is in real life. You do have to be very precise with trees. It's just annoying. Okay, now going back to this. Yeah, because of how particular you have to be with trees and stuff like that, and precise, and just how the whole tree mechanic works, I stopped messing with them because it got to be more annoying than anything else, and also tedious because when they first introduced it, there was kind of a glitch you could do, which, yeah, the glitch helped a lot, and I am one of the people that used the glitch very religiously, which is you could just buy trees. Like, you're supposed to go to the store and buy tree saplings, plant the saplings, and then let them grow, and then you can actually harvest the trees. Well, I didn't do that what you do is you go into like the decorations of the landscape, and you can buy the I think it's called the pine trees. You can just buy pine trees already pre-made, pre-grown, and you don't even have to do the work. That's already done for you. You just basically randomly click where you want to go, just like the farmhouse and stuff like that. And it used to be like in structures, placeables, and it was part of decoration. And it was just trees that different types of trees you could plant. But I guess the game realized that, instead of going to the store and buying the pine trees like you were supposed to do, people would just go to the placeables option, because a pallet of tree saplings was like $900, and that would give you like 10 trees. Or you could buy just the fully grown tree for like $10 or something like that. It was something like, it was like a little bit cheaper just to buy the fully grown tree. It was like $5 for the fully grown tree, something like that. Someone will have to remind me. I don't remember. But it was stupid easy and cheap just to buy the tree, and then you could randomly place it. And then you could also, like, what I did was just buy those trees, and I just go to the huge field and just randomly place it. Like, I planted the only grass on the field, so the whole field was grass, and I just randomly placed trees all across that field. So I ended up having like 10,000 trees that I just threw in there, and it happened to be only of the trees that the harvester or the forestry equipment can actually cut down. It was only those. And then I would just basically I didn't even buy any other fields. I didn't do anything else in the game. I had no actual farming equipment. My entire game was only forestry, because I had the game that came out prior to that and did all the farming. It's like, okay, that's cool. But now they've added forestry equipment, and they didn't add a whole lot into the farming side, just the forestry. So I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm just gonna mess with that, play with that, see how that does. And I had a blast with it. And that's what I did. And I ended up making my own forest, and just like a forest would be, all the trees were randomly placed. They weren't, because the saplings, the planter puts them in a row in a specific order in a line. And in nature, trees don't work that way. Trees are very random. So I wanted to be more like how it actually would be and all that. So that's what I ended up doing. Well, Farming Simulator themselves, they kind of realized that that's what people were doing. You can do that so much cheaper, so much easier. Took a lot less effort. So they removed that option when the next game came out. When 2017 came out, you could no longer buy the pine trees as decoration. You could buy every other tree except pine trees. The pine trees you could only get as a sapling, because when you bought them, they would be like huge tall, like super tall. But then now you have to actually let them grow and farm them like how you would anything else. So they realized that that was a glitch, and then they patched that on the next game. Well, then the next Farming Simulator, on this one, you no longer can buy trees at all, like any of them, because even with the other trees, though you couldn't use the forestry equipment, you could still use a chainsaw to cut it down. And then I could still just grab a chainsaw, cut a tree to pieces, and then sell the wood at a sawmill and still make money that way. And again, the developers realized that you could do that, and now you cannot buy trees at all. I think in the last one, trees were actually a mod that you had to get in order to have trees. But even then, you couldn't just get the pine trees. It was anything but pine trees. But they were mods that you had to buy. Or not buy, but download. I wish this plow had a larger width, because then I could, do this a lot faster. I mean, I like how it's only slightly outside my wheel, so I can be a little bit more precise with it. But it's still a little annoying. Alright. Almost done with this chunk. And I know that there's no straight lines or anything like that, but when I actually go through and plant the seeds here, then it will straighten out. Like this part, I don't care if the lines are straight, because this is just, at the moment, I'm only combining the fields. I'm not actually planting anything yet. I'm just getting it set up and ready to be planted. When I actually go through and plant it, then all the lines will match up, and basically everything will be going in a similar direction. And actually be aesthetically pleasing. Let's see, can I get it? No, I don't think I will. I might. God damn, why is my nose so itchy? I made a fucking perfect circle, almost. Okay. Just got this little patch left, and I can start down the line. And you can see where the terrain gets a little bit too steep for the tractor, because suddenly I'll go very slowly, and then suddenly I'll start going very quickly. Like the tractor, like you see how it's just dragging very slowly, 5 miles or 4 miles an hour, but now it's starting to speed up. It's because now I'm going downhill, and the terrain, sometimes it gets caught on the plow, and the tractor can't really move well. Oh, I've realized that there's a problem. There is equipment in my way. Well, this shall be interesting. What? What? What the fuck? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. Well, apparently there's terrain that needs to be fixed. Okay, let's smoothen you out. And we're just gonna make sure everything is smooth. I can just go back and redo this line, but I want to make sure this area is nice and smooth, that this plow can actually do its job. I can already see right here issue. I already saw the squared. Now I'm holding triangle right now, which is the smooth button, and I'm just kind of holding it down as I run it over, as like I kind of glide over the area, just so it kind of smooths as it goes. I want to make sure that everything is as smooth as I can get it, so that way when I actually attach all these fields, it works. I'm going to go in between here. Whoa. Okay. That should be good. I'm gonna drop you for a sec. Oh yeah, this is the cultivator because I have one planter that doesn't cultivate and plant at the same time. It's the only one that you can get that has cotton on it and a couple other various plants. You actually have to plow the ground before you can plant anything. This planter right here. And this is actually the largest, the little red thing right there. That's the largest planter of that type that you can actually get. Like, I'll show you. Thing is in here. Yeah, so this is it right here. It's the largest one you can get with a width of a whopping 12 meters. And it's one of the only places you can actually plant corn, sunflower, beets, and cotton. And it can plant soybeans too, but you don't need it for soybean. Let's see here. Cultivators. This is the cultivator that I was just dragging. Has a width of 26 meters, I believe, 24 meters. I can't see that well from here. Where is there's a planter. Ah, there they are. Cedars. As you can see, there's a lot of different types that you can get. This is this Amazon one is one that I happen to really like for a long time, because it can cultivate and plant at the same time. This one that's next to it, I think it only plants. You need to cultivate first. I mean, it has a good width to it. It's 18 versus 15. And then you got these ones, which is, this has an 18 meter width, which is really nice, but you have to cultivate first. And this thing is basically just a cultivator, and then this is the actual seed container. So everything that's prior to this, so from here up or here down, is you put the seeds on the machine itself, and it can open up. It's small enough to where it can hold its own seeder. Then from here up, it is only like, it's two parts. So you have a separate trailer to hold the seeds and the fertilizer, and a separate thing to actually plant it. This thing, it's the one that I use right now with the big bud, 25.6 meters, and it cultivates and plants at the same time. And this is the trailer it comes with, which, as you can see, holds a lot of grain. Well, you can't really see, but basically the 3450 or 34,500, it's how much of fertilizer and seed that it can hold total. So it's pretty substantial, and easy to fill. And the other two things over there, so those two pieces of equipment right there, they actually have to go together, because you have to clear the field before you can plant the field with those. And I have also learned my lesson on beets as well. Beets and cotton, I don't think I ever want to have to deal with, because they are the biggest pain in my ass I've ever seen. And I'm going to go to those trucks because I need to move them. So this is my fertilizer, which has a very good width. I forget exactly what its width is. Let's see, fertilizer. There, it's a 48 meter width, which, if you ask me, is pretty damn good. I can, in this first field right here, I get the whole thing in 1.5 passes. And actually, I should probably fill it up anyway. Park it next to here, and just start filling. So you can see I can fill up my container on the bottom right. I'm filling it up with fertilizer. The only thing is these mod grain or fertilizer bins, whatever, that automatically fills up your stuff, but it costs almost twice as much as it would as a pallet. So you just gotta be wary of that. I mean, you can use them, they're great, they're very convenient, it's just more expensive. And then this is the vehicle for beets. This is the widest, like the biggest width that you can get for harvesting those. Oh, let's not crash into everything. So you don't got a lot of, it takes a while to actually harvest a full field. The cool thing is the vehicle itself holds a lot of grain in the back. It has a lot of storage itself. Problem is, basically the amount of storage that it has for itself is about the maximum amount of storage that the trailers that I have on my trucks have. So when this thing is full, then nothing else can actually, I can basically unload this once into a vehicle, and that trailer will be completely full, and by the time I get that trailer to the mill that's paying the most for beets and back, the truck is already full again. It fills up very quickly. It is rather annoying. So I don't usually mess with beets a whole lot. Them Beats by Dre. Had to make the joke. I don't mess with those too often just because it is a pain in the ass. Just getting, because the nearest, usually on the map, on like when I made these beets, this grain over here was the one, this mill was the one paying the most for it, and that's a pretty long trip for a tractor to make. By the time I got over there and got all the way back, it was ready to fill up again. So it's like, well, Christ, and you know, you're constantly filling up and just going back and forth through the entire duration of the harvest, it gets annoying. And so I kind of steer clear of that. I mean, I still have it because I do still, sometimes I'll buy a field and it has beets already planted, ready to go. And you know, what the hell? Oh, because I told it to stop creating fields. Okay. I will accept that answer. I was like, why did it stop functioning? But, so I keep it just in case I buy a field that has beets, because if I buy a field that already has grain on it and that grain is ready to be harvested, I'm not just going to plow over and destroy it. I will collect that grain and sell it for whatever it's worth. It makes my life a little bit easier, gives me money in the process, and it doesn't waste, which is good. But I like to keep the vehicles ready for if I do buy those fields, so that way I can, just like I have a header for I have one header for a harvester meant for corn, because I don't plant corn really, I don't ever mess with it. But if I bought a couple fields that already have corn on it and not the band, and so it's good to have those headers ready, because I'm not just going to plow over the field, because I can still make money off that. So I'll harvest that and then I'll make it something else. Alright, and so now I just basically attached all three of these together in one swoop. Swoop. It's a fun word to say. Actually, before I meant to hit to flip it over, but I instead told it to lower. Whoa, hey, people responding to me. Well, hello to you as well, recap. I don't know how to say that last part, so I'm just gonna keep it at recap. I'm gonna assume that's what your name is. I mean, I know you shouldn't assume because it makes an ass out of you and me, but I have no idea how to say that. I don't even know if you're still watching me or not. I've probably just been sitting here ignoring you for so long that you finally said fuck it and left. Oh well. Shit happens. Not much I can do about that. I mean, I could have, like, not ignored you. Really? I have to terraform again? And I just started with this area, too. Alright. Just gonna go ahead and smoothen this all out. So, now I gotta back up. I pretty much gotta flip around and start this thing back over. Because I done did it a thing. Done diddly undone. One thing that sucks about YouTube is there's actually a 7-second delay between the chat and the video. So if like you say hi to me in the video, whatever, and I don't respond right away, it's just because I have to wait 7 seconds before I can even see the message that you've posted. Why? Why are you still? There should be no reason that you're flying off in random directions like that. Well, I guess I'll have to figure that one out, won't I? Well, time to flip you around. Hang on a sec, I'll be right back. Hello? Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute real quick because I'm going to close off the live stream that I'm doing on YouTube. Just gonna turn my game off real quick. So I'm gonna put you on mute for a few minutes. Alright. Okay. Sorry about that. well, unfortunately, I have to go. So to all, I apologize and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.